Trusting the process means openness. You can't force your path.
What does it mean to trust the process? For this episode, let's listen to the story of 41-year-old director and producer Quark Henares. In his 21 years in the industry, he went from directing music videos, TV commercials, and films like Keka and Rock and Roll to becoming the head of Globe Studios. He is now the head of originals for the Philippines at Amazon Studios. What was Quark's journey like? This is Trust the Process, a Paano Ba To special series. Welcome to Paano Ba To, Quark Henares.
Yes, an anima podcast.
Yes!
Yeah.
Proud na proud. I love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Okay, so like I mentioned, this
Yeah.
series is called Trust the Process. So I know that you've had a lot of different roles, kumbaga, a lot of different jobs that you've gone in and out of. Take us through nga a super quick rundown of your career journey from then to now. So what was the first?
I remember when you were in college, you were doing a lot of hosting. Kasi I was doing a lot of writing naman. I was writing for Volume magazine. Naalala mo pa ba yun?
Yeah,
Volume.
I think so.
Or the
I think
music
so.
band. So writing while studying. And then I was actually managing bands. So I managed 3 bands. Shudad, Monsterbot, and Bold Star. And I was kind of like booking gigs for them. It was like very natural. And of course, music writing as well. I was writing already for Heights. I was writing short stories and poetry. But I was already kind of like, okay, veering towards essay writing, journalism, etc. Speaking of trust the process, I started out then directing music videos for the bands that I managed. My first music video was literally the month that we graduated for Shudad. And then my second music video was Monsterbot. Common team is ako yung manager nila. When I graduated, that was kind of like, okay, what do I really want to do? I really want to direct. I really want to write and I want to direct. And then kind of like use what I had at the time, which was my connections with music, to kind of like open those doors. And because I was friends with a lot of bands, I remember I was gonna do a music video for Imago, which was Viva at the time. A short film I had written for Marilio Diaz-Abaya's class won the Palanca Award, and so Viva hired me to write a script for them. Ayun, I wrote this movie to launch Maui Taylor's career called Gamitan. A few directors pulled out, and then I was like, "Do you guys know I direct for you? I direct music videos for you. Baka di nyo lang alam." And then they're like, "Ah." So after like
That's
7
how it
directors
went?
turned down Gamitan, that's how it went. Luck and right place, right time. So
Yeah, and also I guess a bit
it's
of
pretty cool. Yeah.
confidence kasi nagpresenta ka eh.
Yeah, nagpresenta ako. Kataon na, 7 directors turned the film down. And they were desperate. Here I was, nagpresenta.
Ang galing because of course that opened many more doors for you. And I've never asked you, how did the being a producer start? How did that window open?
I think a universal experience for any film student or for any student who wants to enter the film industry. When you're a film student, you always think the Philippines needs better writers and better directors because, parang and then you'll complain about the state of the Philippine film industry.
Yeah.
So I was like that. And then when I entered the film industry, I met all these writers and I met all these directors, and some of them were like the smartest people I'd ever met. And then that's when I realized, oh my God, we don't need better writers and directors. We need better producers who want to find those weird ideas of these creatives in the industry and kind of like kindle that fire and nurture that flame. It's okay, maybe I should try my hand at producing. So the first movie I produced was shortly after Keka. It was called First Time, directed by Lyle, but that's the first, I think, writing credit for Erwin Romulo and Ramon de Vera. That's the origin story of producing.
So 20s din pala your first producer credit. And then eventually, yun na yung nagtuloy-tuloy. So that's my next question because a lot of people can relate to that na parang ang dami nating gustong gawin. So how did you know which one to focus on at this point? And how did you know it was time to move on to the next thing?
Actually, now that one was, I guess, the part of my life that kind of like was not what I wanted initially. I mean, I wanted to keep directing and writing. And then, of course, pressure from parents. Si dad yung parang when will you get a real job? Parang naka 7 movies na ako. Hindi pa ba yan real job? And so I remember, I mean, super anecdotal, but in order to get my dad to quit smoking, I told him I'd take an MBA, and I didn't think he'd take me seriously, but he did stop smoking, and I Now I was like forced to good. Now I had to take an MBA. Be a man of my words. I took my MBA. So the MBA was something I didn't want, to be honest, and something I kind of like hated while I was taking it. But something magical was happening, I think, at the time. And it was the dawn of streaming video services. 2011. That's when Netflix really started coming out with the video service. And then we had classes. It was in USC, which is also a Hollywood centered school. We had a lot of classes na business in Hulu, as in literally in Hulu and in WME, in CAA, yung parang ganon. So I was like watching all of this happen, parang unfold. I remember, I think I pitched to iFlix. iFlix was, you know what? Why don't you just work for us? Parang ganon. Which is great, diba? Parang, okay, yeah, why not? Game. And then I worked for iFlix for a year, actually. And then after that, I was poached by Globe. Parang I think they wanted to build an entertainment company, basically like a movie studio. And they were kind of like starting from scratch as a telco. And so yun, parang we did Globe Studios and it was a wild and crazy ride.
And you say was a wild and crazy ride because now you are
Now I am, well, as of this recording, I'm not yet.
not, yeah.
But when this comes out, Amazon Studios.
As the
As the head of Amazon Studios Philippines. So
Grabe, how does it feel to even say that? That's so wild.
it's so wild, no? It's wild. Weird. Weird.
You know, now that you made Cuenta your whole career journey, it just occurred to me that because you are a writer and a director and you worked in music, all things tied in together nicely because would you say you wouldn't be as effective a producer if you didn't know all these different parts of it?
I think so, definitely.
Okay, I wanted to end this with a few quick questions lang. First, what do you feel you did right in your journey?
I think it's being open, but at the same time, really recognizing the opportunity, especially if you've been in a certain industry for so long. I think you'd be foolish to say that luck doesn't play a part in it a lot of the time. Diba? Parang, for example, parang yun nga, if 7 directors hadn't turned down Gumitan, like I saw that opportunity and I was, oh my God, when is this going to happen again? I need to take this now. When I got that thing, when I was pitching to iFlix and they offered me a job and totally not the expectation, but oh my gosh, there's an opportunity here. And then that was the same thing also with Amazon now. I think, I was just in the States and I was having lunch with my eventual boss and she was telling me her plans and she's like, I want you to join us. And I'm like, teka lang, I'm not ready. But yun nga, if you're open and you have to kind of like that lundagin mo baby mindset where parang it feels like right before you go down that roller coaster, when you feel that gigil, we gotta do it. We have to do it now. And you kind of like get through all those walls and get through all the noise in your head. So yun.
Galing. Galing. On the flip side, what is one thing you feel you could have improved on or done better in your journey?
I really wish I thought big more. And I don't know why, but there's just like a self-sabotage element or a fear element. I remember one of the prizes for that Keka won in a film festival was like, oh, you get to pitch to MTV Films. Not anyone gets to do that. And I never took it because I was like, I don't know what to do. That happens sometimes. And I don't know if it's fear of failure or I know I probably need to dig deep. There are certain times talaga na parang self-sabotage and you're just kind of paralyzed and I don't know why.
I didn't know that about you and people would be surprised to know that what? Even you who have done some of the biggest projects, may ganun pa din pala. So it's normal.
Indeed.
Okay.
So don't feel bad, guys, but get over it.
Please fill in the blanks. Please say, for me, trusting the process means blank.
For me, trusting the process means openness. You can't force your path. And I think you can't always get what you want, but you can get to the spirit of it. And the path is not a straight line sometimes. When I was in college, every time I'd get quote unquote distracted, I'd feel bad. I'd get a little anxious. Na parang, why am I managing bands? I want to make movies. Then why am I saying yes to these music magazines? I don't want to write naman music reviews. I want to write fiction. But in the end, they're what got me the music videos. They're what got me the foot in the door. They're what helped me get music for the films. It's really something you should enforce. Na parang I know you want to get there, but you will get there eventually. Don't force your path. Know that everything will lead to that if you really want it.
Ganda. And
Mm.
last, what is one advice you wish you knew early on in your career that you'd like to share with those starting theirs now?
Taste is faster than skill. Something I think a lot of people get really discouraged because they don't feel they're good enough. They can make the movies that they want to do, or write the pieces, or paint the paintings, or write the songs. Diba? But I think when we're young, we're honing our taste. Basically, taste is something that we've honed our whole lives. And then it's only maybe when we make that decision that I want to be a blank actress, writer, painter, director, singer, whatever. That's only when we start developing our skill. And that happens you're already 14. Sometimes you're already in your 20s. So when you make your first short film, or when you write your first short story, when you play your first gig, your taste is so refined and your taste is already so good that you know that what you're doing is not great, diba? And I mean, I know, but the mistake that you're making is not giving your skill time. Because syempre, parang first gig nyo lang yan, or first short film mo lang yan eh. Parang, di ba, you've spent years honing that taste and maybe only months honing this. Forgive yourself a little and you'll get there, di ba? Parang don't give up yet just because in your eyes, you're not up to par with your taste.
Shops, thank you. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.